That would have been pretty amazing to be one of the leads of Dumb and Dumber guy and the rental. And now I'm watching it going, oh, and wow, that's early in my career. But at the same time, I don't know if any of you saw Joe Dirt. Did you see Joe Dirt? I excuse me. I played a little part in that, and it was from Adam Sandler Productions. So at the rap party, this kid meaning probably 30 or something. He said, I was the assistant to the editor at Dumb and Dumber, and they showed your scene, and he goes, it's funny, let's cut it because it's not any of the leads, it doesn't bring the story along. And the kid goes, I think it's funny. And he goes, all right, we'll keep it. So I didn't get the sidekick, and I almost didn't get to be in Dumb and Dumber. So there's good luck, there's bad luck. So I'm glad I got to be part of it in some way. Actually, it's a very emblematic of not one of the leads of the movie, but not a full house, but very loyal, and the people who like me. So it's nice. And also, when I was on the set, I was getting ready. I had a job as a staff writer on Seinfeld coming up, a whole left turn. I was just starting to be a character actor. And I said, you can't turn down this opportunity. And Peter Farley and Bobby Farley, they wrote a Seinfeld, they're telling me about it. So who knows, maybe if I would have been the bigger part, I wouldn't have been able to, put this down for a second, been on Seinfeld for a season. I can stick with writing, but I wrote the soup episode, not the soup Nazi. Did anyone ever see the episode where Kenny Banya, where in real life, this guy, this annoying comedian sees me at Starbucks. He goes, hey, I've been working out. I got an Armani suit, doesn't fit me anymore. I went from a 40 to a 42. You want it? I go, yeah. And then he goes, you take me out for a meal or even. We went to Jerry's Deli, an expensive deli. This is 1994. He had soup and a soda. It came to like $20. He goes, this doesn't count. I'm going to save the meal. I told that to Larry David, and Kenny Banya was born. So you think of like breaks you could have had. Well, I could have been a big part in Dumb and Dumber, but then again, it was amazing to be part of Seinfeld. And then they brought me back the next season, not as a writer, but I got to be Fred Yerkes, the press guy, surprise, who said, I'm depressed. I got a new shirt. The button fell off. Once the button falls off, that's it. I'll never fix it. Larry David wrote it with me in mind. So there's things you could have, should have, but then there's things that happen. So, as you see, I'm selling. If anyone wants pictures of Dumb and Dumber or other things, and this is I made copies of the original soup episode. If anyone wants to purchase one, it's pretty cool because it's what's called the table draft. And the first day of the week, they all sit around the table and read it. And my name at first wasn't Fred Yerkes, and Larry David changed it. He goes, "Oh, you're a schmuck. I could use that." So this is a little collectible. And then, I did more character acting. I had my script. I was on Everybody Loves Raymond, his cousin Gerard. Thank you. This is the script. If anyone wants to see how they spell now. And also, Cody, I want to thank Cody Shank. You may not know him. He is a resident of Bowling Green, and his good friend Mike Kerwin, am I saying it right? Karen works in these festivals, and he said, I know this guy, and so Mike Starr, who punched me, was supposed to be here. It was supposed to be a mini reunion. He couldn't make it. He got something bigger than this. But the positive thing is, Duff, who got the part I almost got, she wants to do Dumb and Dumber reunions. We'll do more. So my good friend, I'll bring up in a minute, Bobby Carradine from Revenge of the Nerds. wasn't in the movie, but he's going to come up here if you have any questions, and Lizzie McGuire. And just one last thing before I bring him up. So I connected with this guy, reached out to me on Instagram, did like, heard my voice and did some funny animation with it. And I said, can you do a little, I had a book out, can you do the like a promo? And he's this talented guy living in Bowling Green, and we've been working together. So there's a lot of little quirky stories in here. And we self-published what they're doing in here, a little comic book. But I opened for Norm Macdonald, and we do a little story about that. Thrill Seeker jokes. And you can't see it, but here's the thing: if anyone wants to purchase any cartoons, he drew a picture of someone punching me through the phone booth, and he could insert you and draw you punching me. If you want to employ Cody, a great guy, and if you want to buy our first little comic we self-published. So something, this is the story of my career. It may not be a packed house, but the people there are really sincere. And we have a YouTube channel, a streaming channel where we do the work. And some people drove so far. Scarlett, thank you, from Columbus, right? And Jeff Crone, I don't know where. They're so supportive. So I just want to stop babbling, see if you have any questions, and bring up Bobby Carradine, who's a good friend. Are you here, Bobby? All right, come on up. Now, this guy, sometimes you're in stuff that's not a big hit, and we were in a movie together, but we became friends. So sometimes you get things out of a thing that doesn't change your career, but we see a lot of old-time movies. And you, Bobby, actually, he was in his first movie with John Wayne called The Cowboys with Bruce Stern. Anyone ever see that? And I think that Quentin Tarantino owns a revival theater, and I saw a screening, and you came up and talked before it. You had an interesting story. Hello, Fred. Hey, Bobby. So you having a good time here? Oh, yeah. And Lizzie McGuire, so much things. A little hard, but you stole a very heartbreaking scene in Coming Home. So I'll stop babbling. Any questions about anything? They're all holding their breath. What's that? Yes. My favorite animated what? That I've been on. There's a new one called the Super Duper Bunny League. It's on Nickelodeon now, where I appreciate appreciation. You know what I mean? Some of my best jobs have been things where it's not high profile, but they just are happy to have you there and no self-importance. So I get to improvise and come up with a lot of lines. So that's my favorite. Let me ask you, Bobby. Yes. Now, have you had things like you said, where someone comes up to you after the fact, you were going to be this. You go, oh my God, what that could have been, like that I was talking about. Yeah. Like, what are some situations? Well, you remember that film called An Officer and a Gentleman? Yes. I went in on that, and they were very interested in me playing David Keith or Keith David. I always get those two actors. There's a black guy and a white guy. Yes. And the white guy is a ginger, so there's no question which one's which. Right. But anyhow, they were interested in me trying out for that part, and I wanted to play the Richard Gere part because I thought that was me. Well, let me just say something. I know we have to be PG, but we watch a lot of movies together. And if anything from the 70s, I was with her, I did her. They used to call him the ugly Warren Beatty. You were with some That's right. A friend of mine said, you're the ugly Warren Beatty. Like, we have a friend, Lonnie, he's a 13-year-old son, and we were watching a movie. You weren't there, with Melanie Griffin, with Jeff Daniels in, actually, Something Wild. And Melanie Griffin Wild was naked, and Lonnie goes, oh, Bobby kissed her. I kissed her. PG. He didn't make any more. But see, he was the stud. So I could see he was the Richard Gere type. Wow.
Yeah, see?
So but do you ever have the attitude, but that happened, this one to happen, so you can't go shoulda, coulda, you know what I mean?
Well, no, if that would have happened, a whole lot more would have happened.
All right, I'm trying to rationalize and not jump
No,
off
that's
the
okay.
stage.
I'm very slippery. You're gonna have to work a little harder than that.
But it was frustrating watching this because I see Duff in all these scenes go, oh, what I could have done is his sidekick, oh, if it was us together, but it is what it is. We're here where people appreciate us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Okay, so everybody ready to start partying? Because there's a party like right down the street somewhere.
Well, let's see if there's any other questions. Yes. I'm going to let him answer because I'm curious.
Well, I was never interested in being a performer. My only interest was I wanted to be a racing car driver. That was my thing. And after I became an actor for a while, I got to realize my dream of being a racer. But I had no interest in acting.
Oh, you started at 17. Was that your first movie?
Well, that was my first movie, but my first paying job as an actor was in Florida in a production of Tobacco Road with my father. And he said, you're going to go on as the understudy because my brother Keith was in the role that I was going to take over.
Let me interrupt. Does anyone not know he's part of the famous Carradine family? Keith Carradine was Bill Hickok and someone, and he was Madam's secretary. David Carradine was Kung Fu. John Carradine, Great Sarat. You know that, right?
Okay. Yeah, they're with us. They're with us. We're good. We're good. Yeah, so anyhow, I didn't know what an understudy was. And my dad said, you're going to be Keith's understudy. And I said, okay, sure, why not? No interest whatsoever in acting. And so we drive across country to Florida, and I'm in the audience watching my dad and Keith rehearse. And I watched the first week of production, and about halfway through the second week of production, my dad says, Keith has to go to a movie. You're going to go on next week. Wow. And I was like, what? And so that was my first acting gig. And I can tell you this, there's no way that Keith didn't know that he was going to go make that movie. So I think it was a conspiracy to get me into the movie business or the acting business. So I'm not too happy about that. But then other things came along, and now I'm really glad and I feel very blessed that
Well, you work with Lee Marvin.
Yeah, I get to be a film actor. I got to work with Lee Marvin. I got to work with Walter Matthau.
What were you in Walter Matthau then?
The Incident at Camp Bremen.
All right.
Yes, yes. Very, very good film. Try to catch it.
For me to answer the question, now you grew up in a showbiz family, obviously, so you knew about it. I grew up in Brooklyn, which is not the artsy gentrified Brooklyn we know today. My Brooklyn was Saturday Night Fever, Welcome Back, Kotter. It might as well have been a small town in Nebraska. We didn't have, podcasts where people say how they broke in. So I thought to be an actor, you had to, like an ice skater, your parents had to start you like the Brady Bunch, that you're like a 3-year-old. So I had no idea, but then I would see character actors, like I used to love the Bob Newhart show, and just see the Mr. Carlin, Jack Riley, like weirdos. They reminded me of me, but I had no idea. It might as well have been going to Mars, show business. I was so unsophisticated. I watched Sanford and Son.
Wait. What do you mean you were so unsophisticated?
Not sophisticated. But back then I was so unsophisticated, so unsavvy. It would say written by so-and-so. I didn't even know what that meant. What do you mean written by? It's Frank Sanford. He's funny. So I was so unsavvy to how the world works. But then I went to a comedy club with my older sister in like 1975. We saw Richard Lewis and Billy Crystal before they made it. And I remember, and I was shy and depressed, not funny, but I knew the real world wasn't for me. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was very depressed. I just knew I could be an architect or a dentist. I just knew, I didn't know what I would do. So then someone explained, there's a club in Manhattan called the Improvisation. Freddie Prinze, you young people probably don't know there was a Freddie Prinze Sr. What's that? Oh, okay. But Freddie Prinze Sr. was an actor who was on the show Chico and the Man, and Jimmy Walker was one of my heroes because years ago he was a skinny. I was always skinny and a goofy-looking guy. You didn't see people like that on TV. So I heard there was a place they did their act, then they got on the Tonight Show, and then they got on a sitcom. So I said, "Oh, that's how you do it." So once you hear that's how you do it, so I started. My fantasy was I thought I'd be on the Tonight Show going, this is my second time doing stand-up. I thought you do your act, fuck, you get on the Tonight Show. I was so delusional. You got to be young to be delusional. And then but that didn't happen. But
you don't have to be young to be delusional.
Yeah, it helps. But
so Fred,
what?
Tell the people where the party is.
All right, he wants me to shut up. Well, let's just see if they have any other questions.
Well, we'll see. Okay.
Hi,
good.
yeah, there.
Oh, wait, there's one.
And we can also pass the microphone around for other questions, by the way.
And we can still go to the party.
And we can still party. But question would be, so with the work that you've done with acting on screen as well as the animated, and I guess doing your stand-up, do you have a favorite and or preference for which?
Well, that's a good question. Basically, actually, the thing I'm making no money from is giving the most joy is that the stream I do with Cody and a little things, because I'm telling my own story. There's no gatekeepers. These are stories I've been wanting to express sitting in my computer for decades. So, but I appreciate the acting parts I've had. Yeah, chairs here, you can sit. And animation is like no stress in that you don't have to memorize stuff. I'll sit too. And
Like just the way you're going, we're going to be here a while.
well, you're answering questions, and I'm answering them. And actually, my girlfriend broke up with me because I go on tangents. So I think I'm glad I did sitcom parts, but for the less anxiety is animation, and the book, and it's more creative. So that's the answer. Anything else? Yes.
Let her rip, Gary.
Thank you. On the scene there, when they hit you from the telephone booth, was that you falling back?
No, that was the stunt man.
Okay, just wondered about
And
that.
they only had 2 breakaway glasses, so they only had 2 shots to do it. And one thing, in the original script, it just had, I go over the thing, and then the director goes, aren't you gonna do those lines? Because I just did a little part in a movie called Junior, a little part where Ivan Reitman, I don't want to talk bad about the dead, but he wasn't a great guy. He said, just put it down and get out of there. He was not a great guy. And so I was scared. I just did Junior, and I did it. And he goes, no. So I came up with those jokes on the spot.
And they were really funny.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Usually on sitcoms, you don't get to improv. You have to do exactly as written. So Dumb and Dumber and some animation is rare when you could just say, you could improvise.
I remember I was on this show up in Canada. My brother had a series up there.
Which brother?
Keith.
Well, there's a series.
Oh man, I knew you were going to ask.
I'm curious. It's interesting.
I'm telling you.
All right.
Anyhow, I had a phone call from the producer. I'm in Canada. The producer's in LA. He says, "Listen, we've noticed at some of the rushes that you're not sticking exactly to the dialogue, and you've even added a few of your own lines. And we worked awful hard to get this exactly the way we want it. Really appreciate it if you just stick to the script." And I was like, "Okay." So, cut to, we're shooting this scene where Keith and I are playing brothers. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And the father of the family has just died. So we're at his house, like talking about how they're going to break up the estate. And I'm getting really ticked off because I didn't get anything. And Keith is like, "Well, hey man, just cool it." And I said, "Well, that's easy for you to say. You just scored yourself an effing house," which is a complete ad-lib.
I like it.
It's in the show. Nobody said nothing. So that just goes to show you, sometimes the actor's right. Okay, so this party, Yes.
Two more questions. They're both pretty short. So I'm not I can't say that I'm super familiar with the Carradine family.
She's 15 or 16.
16, yeah. How many brothers do you have, or how many siblings do you have?
Well, at the height of the madness, there were 6 of us.
Wait, people died? I guess.
People died along the way, yeah.
Yeah.
They got old and they
6.
checked out.
What are the names? At least the names of the ones that were in movies.
Oh, the movies are David, Keith, and Robert.
Okay, and Robert is you.
That's me. He's- Yeah, and then I have a half brother, Michael Bowen.
He was in Breaking Bad. He was in my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, Jackie Brown.
Ooh,
Yes.
awesome. Twins. My dad just said that was his favorite too.
My favorite Tarantino movie, yes.
Also, my other question is, did your brother really say an FN, or are you just paraphrasing because there's kids here?
Wait, but did my brother say what?
Like, there's a part where like you're talking about like your brother like says in the movie, it was like, I don't even like them.
No,
Yeah, he's not.
yeah, the
He's got an FN house. Did he say FN or did he say?
No, I said the proper word that goes with FN. I mean, I would say it here, but I don't want to like upset anybody. It's definitely a much better word. You can really emphasize it. So this party,
is there going to be food at the party?
yeah, it's all there, man. There's going to be chicks, everything.
But maybe then someone wants to buy a script or two, so I'll be out there. Or
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the lobby.
Yeah, we can hang out in the lobby. But
Hey, come out in the lobby, have a Pepsi.
so did you like?
They don't have Coke here.
Let me ask them one question before we go to.
Wait, you're asking them a question or me a question?
Now,
Fred, I'm over here.
I'm going to ask them a question.
Oh, okay.
Is anyone's first time seeing Dumb and Dumber? I'm curious. Oh,
They're the ones that were.
so what'd you think? Oh, Cody, it's your first time seeing Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah,
What'd you think?
it's great. It's funny.
It's some of it is so stupid. I mean, obviously, you can't be.
Right.
I don't want to be politically incorrect, but you go, are they on the spectrum? I mean, all right. One last real sweet story.
Okay, gosh.
I was in a movie called Little Man with the Wayans brothers. I don't know if any of you saw that. And it was based on, I found out, a Bugs Bunny cartoon where a dwarf who was Marlon Wayans, his face was put on a real dwarf, is pretending to be a baby to steal a diamond. And we, the adults, thought it was a baby and we're playing tackle football and throwing him against the wall. And I go, is there something wrong with us that we think this is a baby? But it's a movie, and I guess you got to go with it.
Yeah, you gotta go with it. Okay, so this party. Where's the party, Mike?
Buster Brown's right down the street.
Buster Brown's right down the street.
And
Thanks for coming tonight, y'all.
this guy, I call him the grumpy grandfather. He's a great guy, but he'll be impatient if you go 30 seconds out of the way. I want that steak. Where is it?
You call this rare? This is medium rare.
Yes. So he's a grumpy guy, but I assume you're patient with your kids.
Oh, I'm like a kid.
You don't act like this with your kids.
No, only with you, Fred.
All right. Yeah, and his daughter is an actress, Ever Carradine. I guess she in the last season of the Bridesman Tale? What is it?
Handmaid's Tale. She was in all 6 seasons.
She was in all 6 seasons.
Yeah, and then also my niece, Martha Plimpton, is a well-known actress.
She's in the Goonies. That's Keith's daughter.
Yeah,
Have you seen the Goonies?
Yeah, Parenthood, yeah. Yeah.
I was first aware of her in that movie with Judd Hirsch. What's it called?
Running on empty.
Running on Empty.
She was great in that.
Yes, and was River Phoenix in that?
Yes, he was.
I think they dated.
Yeah, he was still alive then.
Obviously. You know, Martha Plimpton, what a family. That's Keith's daughter.
Yeah.
So this guy, and I got,
Oh, Fred.
this guy, I gotta give him credit that he, except for now because he's hungry and grumpy, he doesn't mind. He doesn't go, I don't want to talk about my brother. Shut up. He'd go on the set of Madam Secretary and visit his brother. So they're all real supportive of each other.
Yeah, one time I was on the set of Madam Secretary, and I was in Keith's dressing room, and he had this couch, kind of a big couch, and I always kind of had a crush on Taya Leone. She came in and sat down on the couch, like right next to me. There's like miles of couch. I was like, wow, oh my God, that's Taya Leone. Yeah, wow. Wow.
You're like the Jeff Daniels character in Dumb and Dumber, where he was stealing Lauren Holly from Jim Carrey. You were gonna go for Taya Leone and ruin it for your brother.
No, I didn't. I didn't follow her to Aspen.
Oh my God. Well, I'll be hanging out. You could ask me any question, and then we'll eventually, I'll go to the party. I'm sure he'll go right away. And, you know something, support a local, what's it called, Ohioan, Cody, hire him to do a little cartoon, buy one of his things, check out our thing, and, I guess we'll, jump off the stage now. I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Hey, and then I need to, we'll take it out there.
sure.
All right.
Absolutely. Yes. I might restart the stream. Actually. Yeah.
Are you a Bowling Green grad or?
Yeah, I've actually graduated and
From
well, I
like
went.
Bowling Green High School or Bowling Green State or both?
Oh, just in general, I'm like a freelancer, so
Okay.
I went to like more kind of workshop based
Okay.
schooling, and yeah,
I
so it's
see.
kind of where I'm at.
Are
with the,
are you based in town or? I asked because I live there.
right?
Yeah.
You know, I might have seen you. I think your face is familiar at the music.
I take my kid to a lot of those recitals.
Yes.
And he's a little blonde boy about so
No, yeah, because that's kind of where I hang out there. Love the
I'm his
performances. Oh yeah,
what's your name? Matt? Yeah. I was just telling him and my parents, you look familiar.
Oh.
And so my fiance, she did her graduate degree at the CNA at BGSU. So I remember seeing you in your